I hate when people say this. They go, "Oh, but we get an extra hour of daylight, so after work it's still light." Listen, who do you really know during a work day are taking their kids out doing stuff on a weekday later on at night, and on the weekend? If we don't change the time, you're still going to get the same amount of daylight. Yes, it'll be 8 p.m. instead of 7 or whatever, but who cares?
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
You're funny.
Like I said. Do you like my tail?
Like I said.
And we're back for another exciting episode of Iron Rage. I'm here with Lee Priest. And Lee,
Morning.
Good morning. That's right. It is. What time is it there?
5:45, Dave, since your silly daylight savings. I'm up an hour earlier doing this.
Wouldn't it be easier if they just got rid of daylight savings?
I've always said, I hate when people say this. They go, "Oh, but we get an extra hour of daylight, so after work it's still light." Listen, who do you really know during a work day are taking their kids out doing stuff on a weekday later on at night, and on the weekend? If we don't change the time, you're still going to get the same amount of daylight. Yes, it'll be 8 p.m. instead of 7 or whatever, but who cares? It's like ridiculous. I'd rather get up at 4:30 and have the sun coming up, but they make 4:30, 5:30. I prefer to get up early. Like I said, you get up now when it's dark, it's harder. So just leave the fuck alone. Who came up with this bullshit?
The problem is it's the daylight savings is not even coordinated across the world. Switch it now, I switch it 3 weeks later, this one switches it. In Phoenix, they don't switch it at all.
Well, that's the thing. You know what it's like
here in Australia. You can't do it at different times. And they wanted to get rid of it in Florida, but not in New York. So Florida and New York would have been on different times, even though we're on the same meridian,
What about this? New South Wales, where I live, you've been here in Queensland. Yeah. We have it. Queensland does it. So people who live people that live right on the border in New South Wales, they're going to drive to work in Queensland, which is a 30-minute drive. So they leave here at 6. They get there at 5. They leave work at 5. They get home at 6.
So, and if you don't time it right, if you don't remember what the time frame, you could be an hour late for work, not even realize it,
What about you leave work at 5? You do a 10-minute drive home. Now it's 6.
Yeah, you lose an hour, right, on the way home.
Yeah. Imagine doing that for like 4 months. Just
I always said you guys are out of your minds over there. The laws and the rules that they got in Australia make us look like we're geniuses here in the United States.
But what gets me is the people who make these laws are actually the ones running the country. Fucking
It's scary. It's very scary. I just found out my friend who still lives in East Meadow, New York, which is on Long Island, which is where I grew up and I went to high school there. His wife is a teacher at East Meadow High School, which is where I graduated from. I guess this Project Veritas, which is like a right wing, you've heard of them. They did an undercover investigation, and they with the assistant superintendent of the school district. He wasn't there when I was there, obviously, because that was 100 years ago I was there, but. He's the new guy. I guess he's an openly gay man, and he believes that he should use his sexuality to connect with the children. He says, and he believes in teaching gay and lesbian in the schools. It's very important.
Oh yes, like having the drag queens come in and read story times. Unbelievable. Look, kids at that time. At that age, aren't thinking sexual. Kids just want to be fucking kids, so leave them alone.
It's scary because you know what? There's a lot of these nutcases walking around, and we make fun of these nutcases, but they're there. They're right under our noses, and you and I can't even imagine that anyone would come up with this craziness. But These people do, and these are the people that are responsible for our kids' education. It's scary, you know.
I wonder if they're going to be in. I wonder if they'll be in kindergarten cop, because remember in that the little boy goes, "Girls have a vagina, boys have a penis." They'll be like,
Not
"No,
anymore.
no, not anymore. Men can have babies and a period now."
Well, there was a couple. I don't remember where I saw it. There was a couple where the beautiful wife was actually a man that turned into a woman, and then the husband was a woman who had turned into a man, and the husband was pregnant because
I
she's
remember
really
that, yeah.
So did you see that picture?
Yeah, I remember. Wasn't it on the news and on a Times magazine? I think wasn't it? Like,
no, it was just going around recently. I saw it. Yeah, and
well, I remember a while ago it was in a magazine, a big story. Man has baby. He's not a fucking man. It's a woman who now lives as a man. He's not a man. And if you were a man, you wouldn't want to have a baby or a period.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing that I find is that people are offended that why can't a biological male still be called a man, even if he looks like a woman? I don't understand why people are having a problem with the label. You know, we're labeling them biologically, not you know, phenotypically. There's, you know, in when I breed snakes, and there's something called phenotype and genotype. Genotype is what your genes are. So genetically, genotypically, you're either a male or a female. Phenotypically is the way you look. So if I have a certain gene in me, an albino, then I'm going to look like an albino, phenotypically and genotypically. Now, if I'm a man, okay, if I'm born a male and I'm genotypically a male, but phenotypically I look like a woman, that's fine. But I'm not a woman. I'm still a male who looks like a woman, you know? And so we're confusing people. And I'm sure the confusion is being done purposely, Lee, because they want everyone to think that there's no sex anymore. That everyone's the same.
Well, to me, there's still just two genders. So just Google how many genders there are now. I think we're up to 100.
Well, they want people confused, Lee, because the bottom line is they don't want any men anymore. They want everyone to be subservient to the government. So if there's no alpha males, there's no masculine males, and everyone is just like this neutered, like neutral gender, then everyone will just listen to whatever they're told to do. And that's what it amounts to. Why do you think these banks are going out of business? These banks are not really going out of business. They're scaring people so that people will say, please save my money. You're going to take all my money. What do you need me to do? Sign over all my cash to digital currency? Yeah, I'll do it. If you save my money, that's what they're doing. I mean, we knew this was coming. But I said it 2 months ago. I watched the program.
It's all about controlling the people. They want them.
Yeah.
Like they've already got those. There's a couple of those cities in China now where there is no money. It's all that credit system.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you mess up and your credit system goes down. Like I said, I watched that program, and this guy started off in a beautiful apartment. He could drive every day. He'd done a few little bad things. He got moved down. They put him in a shittier apartment. He could only drive 2 times a week. It's like,
Lee, you'd be locked in a 1-bedroom room. We're not allowed to do anything.
I'll be in a piece of cardboard on the sidewalk.
Well, that's what people will do. They'll go out to like places that are deserted, and they'll start their own like Wild West communities. You know, with
deserted. I'll be camping out. I'll be sleeping in front of Gold's Gym. Like,
well, yeah, right. Or that, or you. Luckily, in Australia, you guys have the outback there, where no one lives. The people will be starting their own civilizations out there.
Plenty of land. Like I said, we got almost the same land mass as America, but only 26 million people. I can go anywhere there.
Yeah, you got places to hide. You know, and you know that the lawmakers that are making these laws, they know that these things are fucking nuts, but they're doing it because they want control. It's a control thing. So the lawmakers are not crazy. They know exactly what they're doing. But the people who follow them, those are the crazy people, you see? So the people that are like pushing for teaching, transgender in school, those are the nut jobs. But they know the government who's controlling and moving the chess pieces around. They know if they get the nut cases in on it, that they'll be able to do whatever they want.
Well, it's like the lawmakers don't follow the rules. Look how New York went nuts with the COVID and that. Then all those lawmakers that made the laws went to Florida to party and have fun with no masks. But they're telling everybody else, you got to do this, you got to kill people, you got to act this way. And they all went to Florida. It's like, but yet they'll call them DeSantis like this evil guy
Yeah.
who's trying to kill people,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
all down there. Or the New York senators and shit are in fucking Florida.
Hiding out. Yeah. Hiding. You know, the funny thing is, and I saw like a special on this, they were saying that, you know, and we kind of knew this, but no one really pointed out that every person in a hospital in New York that they put on a ventilator, the government was giving them like $36,000.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, they said it was
so
COVID.
They were putting everyone on ventilators because all these hospitals are hurting for money. You know, why they're hurting for money, I don't know, because they charge ridiculous amounts of money to be there. But
it's the people who are running. All those people in the office are taking those huge salaries.
Stealing all the money. Yeah. So think about it. If you have 1,000 people on a ventilator at $36,000 per person, it's a lot of money, you know? So they were doing it purposely. They were saying most of the people who were put on ventilators, they said 98% of them didn't need to be on ventilators at all. Because what would happen is they'd come in and they say, I have trouble breathing. They're like, oh, we got to put you on a ventilator so you don't die. And people were scared. So they didn't know. They said, all right, do what you got to do. So what they did was they paralyzed them. They gave them like drugs to not basically put them in like a coma. And they stuck a fucking thing down their throat. And then they billed the government for 36 grand, you know? It was a scam. And most people died because of those ventilators. You can't lay on a ventilator for weeks at a time.
No food, just getting fed.
Speaking of ventilators, Lee. So part of the, you know, I've been watching these videos. My wife's been sending me. I wouldn't voluntarily do, but I guess it's a good idea. So I've been watching these videos about the surgery I'm having next week, right? So
you didn't see what they're going to do. That's always good. Just
I know what they're going to do in my chest cavity, but there's people who have done videos where they've gone through the procedure and they tell you what to expect when you wake up and everything like that. And so a lot of times when you wake up, they still have the breathing tube down your throat. So the guy is telling you, like, the breathing tube will breathe for you. When people wake up, they get all panicky because they feel like they can't take a breath because they're not breathing on their own. And he's like trying to tell you to relax and just, trust the tube is going to breathe for you. And I'm thinking, why can't they just keep me fucking asleep while the tube's in my throat?
Exactly.
I don't want. Then they say, well, they give you so much drugs you don't even remember it after you wake. When down the next day you won't even remember it anymore. I'm like, I don't want to even experience it. I said, just keep me asleep.
You shouldn't have watched them. That's like me when I travel and I watch those air crash investigation shows before I fly overseas.
So it's crazy, but yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, I'm going to wake up, probably it's going to be a couple hours, just until they make sure that I'm, everything's working. But can you imagine being on a ventilator, for 3 weeks?
If you woke up, imagine if you did wake up, then you sort of go, you go to.
Well, Valentino woke up. I don't know if you ever heard the story when he had his throat cancer surgery. He woke up with the ventilator down his throat and he tried to rip it out. And they had to hold him down, and it was a whole crazy thing. He lost his mind. He went insane in the hospital. They got you doped up on drugs, so you might think you're hallucinating. Who knows? You could think you're dreaming for all you know. You don't know. So that's the reason I watched the video, because I wanted to make sure I was aware of all the scenarios, so that when I wake up, I'm not like they're killing me. They're trying to kill me.
But even if you know the scenarios, because you've been on the drugs and you still wake up, you still might forgot all that shit and still go panic mode. So
that's right.
Just keep me asleep until my chest heals, and I'll
yeah. Can you just keep me in a coma until I'm completely healed, so I don't have to experience
so I don't feel any pain around the chest or anything. It's all So
with my luck, they'll tell me, we're doing a new thing. We're going to put you in suspended animation for 6 weeks. You'll wake up in 6 weeks. Everything will be healed. You'll be completely done. You just walk out of the hospital. We might have to do a little physical therapy to get you walking again.
Or they forget about you and they leave you in there.
For 100 years. I'll wake up 100 years later, and they'll be like in some kind of like a bomb fallout shelter. I'll be like, what the fuck's going on? They'll be like,
you'll wake up, you'll come outside, there'll be rainbows and unicorns and men dressed as women everywhere. And
right. There'll be only women.
You'll be locked up because you're a male. You'll be like.
Right, I'll be like, where's all the men?
Charleston Heston landing on Planet of the Apes, but you're going to land on a planet full of transgenders. You're going to be like, a male. He's a man.
But Lee, by then, there won't even be any males. There's no transgenders. It'll just be a completely planet of females. They'll be like,
that's why you're going to be That's why when they see you, they're going to lock you up.
You're damn right. They're damn right they'll try to lock me up. I have to run I have to put a wig on and hide myself,
Exactly. They'll be trying to tie you up in pink streamers and glitter and fucking put you away.
It'll be like that movie. What was that movie with the where Stallone and Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man?
Demolition Man, yeah.
It'll be like that. They'll be like, we had to wake you up. We were going to leave you in animation, but we need you to capture another male that has escaped.
Oh, that's a good movie, though, wasn't it? Funny, some of those movies now you think that were far-fetched. Isn't it funny? All these movies that you think were far-fetched years ago, you're like, fuck, that shit's actually happening now.
Remember weren't they? I don't think they were allowed to curse in that society, right? No one cursed. No one said anything bad.
Yeah,
right.
Didn't they go bam bam and he lost credits or something?
Yeah. That's gonna. They made a joke. It was a comedy, really, if you think about it. But at the same time, that's probably the reality we're heading towards.
But when did Dick Tracy cartoon and that come out?
In the 50s, right?
And he had a phone watch then, didn't he? A talking watch.
Yeah, and everyone said that'll never happen,
And look at you just watch The Simpsons. They predict everything, Dave.
They do. Well, you know what? You remember Star Trek? One of the original Star Trek episodes. Are you a Trekkie? I don't even know if you were a Trekkie.
I don't ever watch the TV series, but I used to watch the movies, and then I got into Picard a bit, the series Picard.
Oh, I love it. I love Picard. I'm all caught up. You should watch what is it called? The Brave New Worlds. Have you seen that one? No. It's a new series. It chronicles Captain Pike, who was the captain before Kirk.
Okay.
And Spock is on there. They have the guy who plays Spock looks just like him, and it was like a branch off that other show, Discovery. But it's probably the best series they have right now because the guy who plays Captain Pike is amazing. He's really good, and they kind of sneak the characters that were actually in Star Trek because it takes place before Star Trek. You start meeting some of the characters and how they got integrated into the whole series. It's pretty cool.
Did you watch that one, The Last of Us?
No, I started watching. I watched the first 2 episodes, and then my friend ruined it for me because he said, "Don't want the 3rd episode sucked. It's about 2 gay guys." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, I can't watch this." And I stopped. That's all it was about.
These 2 gay men that hooked up and they're kissing and making love, and one's dying, so they kill themselves together. And I read the reports on. I was reading the reports online. This is groundbreaking television. Such beautiful. I was done. Brokeback Mountain already beat you to it, you dickheads. Yeah. It's like, this is so wonderful. They put this on TV. And you know what I hate now? The Academy Awards when, that Everything Everywhere. I never watched it. But this is the first Asian person, American, to win the Academy Awards. Like, why you got to put their race into it every time? Just fucking say she was a great actress. She won it. We can see what she is. You don't need to fucking rule. This is what it is. I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Right. If I can do it, anyone can do it. This gives hope. Because I said to people, when I was growing up, there was none of this bullshit where I don't feel represented in these movies. I must have watched every Bruce Lee movie, Kung Fu movies that were subtitled. Right. I never once thought, I can't relate to this because there's no white Australians in it. I just watched it for the entertainment. It's a fucking movie.
Of course.
Did we complain when we watch all those gangster movies and they just had all black people, no white people? No, who cares?
Right. It's true. You're watching a microcosm of our world. So whether it's Italians who are mobsters or it's black guys who are doing some other stuff or rappers, or if it's, a bunch of Asians in Karate Kid, who the hell cares? It's different cultures.
Remember the TV show Friends? They were going, there's not enough diversity. Well, that's real life. Sometimes people have a group of friends, a small group, and they might not have Asians, black people, Mexicans in that group that they hang out with every day. It's like, what do we need? Every show's got to be the fucking United Nations.
Well, Star Trek really was breaking when the original series came out because they actually had, not only did they have black people and Asian people, right? They had Sulu and Uhura on the set, but they had aliens. That was like the, aliens and integrated.
Captain Kirk used to make love to the aliens.
All of them. Yeah, that's the best part of it, right? That's every man's fantasy, right? To have to hook up with an alien woman, right?
Unbelievable. It's like the world, like you said, we're on a decline, Dave, and now they're predicting this asteroid's meant to be coming. The one I saw, where did I see it?
Another asteroid heading to this?
2046. It's meant to wipe us out.
You and I will be dead by then, probably. So
that's only 26 years away, there.
we might not be.
If we're alive, we'll probably be wishing we're dead at that time.
Yeah, maybe. Well, at least we won't care if we die. Then we'll be old and gray. So, but you know, Jimmy said that I don't know if you watched After Hours. Jimmy was saying that the mothership has been spotted in the solar system. I said, I thought you don't believe that there's a solar system. I thought you believed that we live with a firmament.
Jimmy was just reporting on the news. He didn't say he believed it. He's just reporting what they said.
Well, you wouldn't think he would report it. You'd think he'd say, "What a bunch of idiots! They think that there's a mothership in it." But he secretly believes that it might be true. That's why he didn't say that.
Yeah, I saw that. I forget the guy's name. He's one of those famous TV anchors. Was reporting on it. Yeah, the mothership is up there.
They said the mothership is in the solar system, meaning that it's lurking around the solar system. Well, why isn't it hanging out outside the Earth's or orbiting the Earth if it's sending down water balloons or
is it like that Predler, the Predler ship where it sort of cloaks itself?
That's
and
right. There you go. There you go. So
unbelievable.
What would happen, Lee? Think about it. If there was a mothership up there and the aliens were up there and they actually came down, do you think that we would all get along with each other? Like would the Earth unite together against,
Well, if they're friendly, the funny thing is, if they came down, they'd probably be friendly, because what could we do? Their technology is far superior to us. Like our guns, nothing's going to work on them. But I'm sure places like America that would try and kill them, or they could try and take over. They go into panic mode and that. But if they came down and said, "Listen, we're friendly," and that, like I said, I'll throw religion out the window. But it's like I said, there's nothing we could do. Our fighter jets aren't gonna.
No.
There's a ship that can go and just disappear like warp speed. It's like, what are we going to do? So,
but do you think there would be like people like like George Farrow would be like, "Brother, I come work with me. I know everything on the Earth. I have all my connections. I'll put you in touch with them." There'd be people that would sell out this planet in 10 seconds to hook up with them.
The thing is, though, like I said, the technology far advanced. There's nothing we have that they would need.
You would think, right?
Without just looking at us and going,
raw materials here on this planet. I don't know. Maybe that's what we have that they would want.
No, but they probably, with the amount of galaxies and universes that are out there, they probably got that from somewhere else, because they've already running their ships and they've already got what they need to propel through space. It's like, we're just entertainment to them, like ants, like an ant farm.
Right. You would think that they would be like, it's Star Trek. Like they're, I always believed that there really weren't aliens, but there was maybe other, like people were able to travel from other times, like if the future would come here, and witness us, here, and to us, we would think that they were superior aliens, but they might actually just be people from this planet, 1,000 years from now that have superior technology.
And then something happened to them and we started again back at scratch. So, like, how did that get made? Because if you let's just say the world ended today and a lot of this shit was left behind, and then a new race started, so they're starting from scratch with sticks and rocks and fire, and they dug up a computer or a building, they'd be like, wow, what is this? Who made this? An alien race? No, us fucked up humans made it. And you're going to make the same mistake another 1,000 years from now. Just this big cycle.
No, it's like you said, it was like Planet of the Earth, Planet of the Apes. You'd find the Statue of Liberty somewhere buried. That's about it.
Exactly. It's just like a cycle that comes every million years. We destroy ourselves and start again. And then we're amazed. Wow.
It's like, how like with the computer, sometimes you have to just do a complete like reset on the computer. And you got to wipe it clean and start again. I think that's what the Earth does. The Earth is not going anywhere. So. We're not destroying the Earth. The Earth will just wipe us out and start over. That's all.
Like shaking the fleas, dogs shaking the fleas off its back.
You know what? The Earth will be like, it was a good idea, but we kind of screwed up. Let's flood this whole thing out and get rid of all these fucking vermin, and we'll start over again. Keep a few birds and keep a few. Maybe a few of the whales will live again, because if we're going to flood everyone, the whales should be fine, and maybe a few sharks will survive. But get rid of all these humans. They're kind of like really annoying us.
No, but the sad thing is, there's a couple of humans that might survive will be the tards like Greta Thunberg, Biden, all those people. They'll be the ones that breed. So that the new generation will be like the hills have eyes. It'll be like all these inbreds.
Oh my God! You can't make this stuff up.
Speaking of that, like I say, are you into electric toothbrushes?
Yeah, I love electric. What, you got a new one?
I used to always make fun of them because I said, "What, you're too lazy to do this?" And plus, some of them are so hard and abrasive on your gums and teeth, they're actually thing. But this guy here, he's on Instagram, Anthony Craig, if you look it up. I think it's Anthony Craig Dental or something. But this thing here, because I've tried the other ones and I didn't like it because they were too hard on the gums.
Let me see.
Rough. Hold on. I took it out of here. It's in
Where did you find this? Did someone send that to you for free?
Yeah, on Instagram. Because you probably heard me right. Huh?
Take it out of the box.
It's in the bathroom. Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
I want to see it. See, the difference between Lee Priest's chair and my chair is that my chair gets written by my kids. His doesn't. Kids there.
Here it is. Here, look.
That small toothbrush was in that big box.
It came with all other attachments, like a new head and the charges.
So why is that better than my my Braun one that I have?
Something to do with the speed, and this brush here is very soft. See?
Oh, it spins. Yeah, it spins like that. It spins the opposite.
And it's soft. It's better for your gums. Now this is going to revolutionise the world of toothbrushes.
Now that spins the opposite way of my toothbrush. Is that because you're in Australia, or is that because of the design of the toothbrush?
It's got a button. It's got a button here to spin it different ways. Look.
Oh wow!
You can change the direction.
No, because like the conventional one, the brushes are on top and it spins this way. Yours is on it's on its side. It's spinning sideways almost. The brush.
So I can have it go this way and that way.
Interesting. Well,
very good. Now, if you're into them, like I said, I wouldn't use them before because the other ones were too hard and abrasive. So if you want the best out there, look, I don't recommend this shit normally. I'm not being paid.
Well, you got it for free, so of course you're going to recommend it. But you say you do like it, though.
No, but you don't need to. You know me. If I get shit for free and it's not good, I'll say it's fucking shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So, he took a risk in sending it to me.
Yeah, where do you get the replacement things? You have to order it online.
Yeah, probably. Look, that's the other head.
Does Amazon sell those things?
Oh, I don't know. You have to go to his Instagram page and check it out. But it's the best one out there. Like I said, I've tried other ones and didn't like them because they're too hard. And
I'll try it. I'll try anything.
Look at his Instagram page.
All right. What's the name of the page?
I think it's Anthony Craig Dental.
This guy's a dentist?
Oh, he can't show his face, Dave. He can't. Remember the TV commercials? The dentists couldn't show their face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you find it?
No.
I'm sure if you go to my Instagram and put in who I follow, you'll see.
Oh, it's on your. Okay. Did you post it on your Instagram?
Actually, I did. Yeah, it's posted on mine, and I got the link to his. So,
I like anything that helps improve, like any kind of hygiene or health or anything like that.
And that's the thing too, because you got to remember oral stuff. So many people who have problems, it can come from the infections in the teeth and gums and everywhere else.
100%, yeah. Oh, here it is. Hold on. I got it off your page. Let me pull it up.
If anyone wants a new electric toothbrush, go to him and find out the info because this is going to take over the market, I'm sure.
So this is his page right here, Anthony Craig Care.
Yeah. There it is.
Oh, I see. So the toothbrush is meant to get like between the gums line and the.
And
I like that little animation. Is pretty cool.
Yes. So, anyone that has an electric toothbrush now,
look at all the popcorn kernels coming out of there. No, you're right. I know a lot of people who just don't take care of their teeth. I was talking to Jimmy the Bull yesterday about that, and I said, Jimmy, you have 3 teeth missing now from your mouth. You got to get a dental implant done. And I gave him the number of the guy who did one of my dental implants. I said, it's going to be a little expensive. I said, but you cannot be one of those guys that are going to be wearing dentures in 10 years. You're going to hate it. You're going to be miserable because you like
Jimmy just going to a normal doctor for a checkup is a procedure. Could you imagine him going to get dental work done? Something's going to go wrong. The teeth won't fit. They put it in the wrong spot. It's like... Dave, you're not saying because
we're gonna be like, Jimmy, what happened to your teeth? They told me it was discounted. They said it would look the same. It's horse teeth.
I go, he's gonna come out looking like look like Mr. Ed.
They gave him horse teeth. He's like, I said, why'd you get horse teeth? It was half price. I didn't know there was any difference.
Something would definitely go wrong. Trust me, it'd be like fucking. Like I said, I was watching the show where I told him that before too, when he had before the first kidney stone. He never drinks water. He doesn't drink water at all.
No, and he still doesn't, even after the kids. He still.
You just keep a bottle beside you, then you just sip on it. At least it's something.
I know. And he's driving all day. He probably doesn't drink. He doesn't want to have to pee, but he doesn't care. He'll pee in a bucket. You know, it doesn't stop him.
He stops on the side of the freeway and pees. He doesn't.
Yeah. But you know, oh, you can't make this stuff up, really. No.
What's happening in the bodybuilding world? I haven't looked at the thing today. Desktop bodybuilding, big Ramy, new stem cells. It's over for Ramy, says bodybuilding. Nick Tragelli, it got Bob Ciccarello on there. It's over for big Ramy. Ooh, it's over. It's like dramatic.
People love to write people off, and then all of a sudden, and then they make a comeback, and then they're jumping right on the bandwagon again.
It's like bodybuilding. That's what I said. It's like you could win 10 shows, have one bad show. He's done. He's over.
I mean, that doesn't look like a guy who's done. The reason why Ronnie Coleman was done is because Ronnie had nerve damage to his back, and he couldn't develop the one side of his lat. Ramy doesn't have like any kind of damage. His physique has just changed as he's gotten older. So,
exactly. And we all know that. And we all know that when you're dieting, when he came in and won.
Yeah,
you can't use the same diet every year. You got to change the diet, because if you did it the right formula, came in shred, you're like, this is the one, I'll use it. You could use that same thing the next year and look totally different.
Yep.
So and the thing is, you're trying to guess too, what are they going to go for? More size, fullness, or do I need to come in more shredded? Or it's like so.
Now, if I was advising Ramy, and I believe he's 38 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to him, you got nothing left to prove. You have a really good foothold in the Middle East society there. They think you're a celebrity. You probably have a lot of ability to make money outside of bodybuilding because of your celebrity nature. Leverage that to the nth degree. Make money over there. Do movies if you got it. Maybe they want to put you in a movie as a monster or something like that. Whatever they want to do. Use your celebrity nature, and you know what? Downsize and preserve your health, because at this point he's got nothing left to prove. He doesn't need the money, obviously.
He could get a few tattoos and be like Martin Ford. Look at Martin Ford, that guy. Because he's sort of tall and freak. He's been in lots of movies.
Yeah, I don't know if Ramy looks. I don't know what kind of an actor Ramy is, but maybe in his own language he'd be really good.
Have you seen some of those Bollywood actors? The money they make in their movies are fucking terrible, but people love them.
Horrendous.
Some of those Bollywood stars are fucking jumping out the window with money. It's crazy.
I mean, Kai Green is obviously not hurting for money, or we would have seen him back on stage when we did it.
When was his last show? That would have been.
His last show was the Arnold. What was 19? What was that? Wait, no, when was that? 17? 16? I don't even remember.
A while ago now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think that Ramy at this point can bow out with his health intact, no major injuries. He's got a legacy, won 2 Olympias,
And like you said, just from his own country, he wouldn't have to leave his country. He could make tons of money just being there. Like Hardy in his country could quit bodybuilding there, live a great life, making money.
But he's still young, Hardy. What do you think that Ramy? I mean, if Ramy started a supplement line in the Middle East, I mean, who wouldn't buy that line from him? He could launch an energy drink probably and make $1 billion off that in the Middle East, because they don't have anything like that there.
Middle East, and where a lot of people keep going, like Kevin and them and everyone. India, it's huge in India. Like the supplements over there is crazy.
Kevin's doing great overseas. I told him, I said, Kevin, stay out of the United States. You know what? You'll lose. Your whole company will go bankrupt if you sell here. Stay where you are, because he's making a lot of money over there in the Middle East, like you said, India, those places. So that was through all the connections he made from all the years of competing. And the same thing with Ramy. Ramy doesn't need to leave the Middle East. He can go to the Middle East and launch a product line there, and probably make a very, very nice living for himself.
Easy done. Oh, there's a Chinese bodybuilding channel. They're comparing NASA to Dorian. NASA versus Dorian, 1997 Olympia. I was there.
I know, me too. Look at Dorian. Dorian, even when I interviewed him, he wanted to compete. He was going to compete again in '98. and he believes he would have won, and maybe he would have. I don't know. It would have been pretty close, but you know, he beat
him and Ronnie would have been different.
I mean, who knows? I mean, but you know, the problem was that Dorian at the end of his career wasn't the same Dorian from '93. He had a lot of injuries, you know, so I don't know if he would have beat Ronnie, but you know, Dorian stopped competing. What was he, like 35, something like that? Mm-hmm. You know, pretty young.
That's why I don't like these rules at a Masters Olympia where it's going to be 45. It's like you got guys now.
Now it's 40, Lee. Now it's 40. They're letting guys in.
You got guys in the Open Olympia who are 40. Like back in my day, a lot of the pros were younger, like you said, and quit in their 30s. Now some of these people aren't turning pro to their 30s, late 30s. So if you can compete in the Open Olympia at 30, you shouldn't be able to go at 40. You shouldn't be able to step into the Masters. Like I said, Masters needs to be over 50, and you haven't competed for at least 3 years.
Do you think that Phil Heath might ever do the Masters Olympia? I mean, he looks pretty big still.
Yeah, him, Victor. There's a few out there that could turn up, but that's how it should be. It should be like people who haven't competed for a while.
Well, let's put it this way. Who would beat Phil Heath?
Be hard, wouldn't it? I said, Victor coming back full on might give him a run, but depending on conditioning and that. But if Phil Heath's on, no one's going to beat him. So.
All right, so now I'm looking at the website now. It says for 40 years or older for men's classic, men's physique, women's fitness, figure, bikini, women's physique and wellness, 45 and older for men's bodybuilding, 212, and women's bodybuilding. Okay, so I thought they changed it, but I guess it was just for the other divisions.
There should be 50. 15, you haven't done a show for a while.
That's what I think, but you know what? As much as I remember when they used to hold those Masters, I remember that. Remember that nutcase Jarka who was holding the shows for a while in Miami Beach there.
And then didn't she pay him or something?
The first year it was a really well done show. She had a lot of money, obviously, and she put it up, and it was a first class event. And just a lot of the people, there were people there who didn't necessarily compete in the show, but were Masters, you know, people that were, you know, like Larry Scott was there, Samir. It was like a who's who of bodybuilders that were there, even though they didn't compete, all of them. And that's what I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the environment because all the few past champions were invited, and she flew them in first class. She probably lost her shirt on the show, and that's why the second year she couldn't afford to give all the prize money out. But you know, that was probably the heyday of the Masters bodybuilding.
Well, I think you know what would be better. It's like when Kevin made his comeback and then Flex and that. Now, could you imagine if you got Kevin to get in shape again, Flex? You had Phil Heath, you had Victor, and these guys just don't go crazy, but just get in good shape. And at one of these big shows like the Olympia or someone, you bring all these, pick like 10 of them that you pay them. I don't know how much, 25,000 each. And they just do a seminar and guest pose. Could you imagine what that would bring in to see these guys just guest pose and do a seminar?
Well, I think she did that, Jarka, for you know, it's funny. I probably have it somewhere on my computer. I filmed the seminar. I was the only person that filmed it there. She was supposed to live stream it and do all this. Who knows what she was going to do with it? It was one of the best seminars I've ever seen. Rich Gaspari, Ronnie, Flex. It was all these guys. Sean. It was like a who's who from the '90s. Everyone but you was there. And
like I said, if they did that again, it would be great because.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying I filmed it. I have that on film, and I started putting it up part by part. This was back whenever it was. I can't remember. I think it was 2012 or 13. And she went nuts. She was like screaming at me, and she was yelling at me on the phone. And we went from being like best buddies to like, I said, Jarkin, you're not doing anything with. I have the footage. Let's put it up and get some hits. She went. So I just took it down. I said, "This girl," and I called Jim Mannion up. I said, "Jim, she's going." He's like, "She's never going to hold a show again. Don't worry about it." He's like, "Just you know."
Well, that's the thing, because you know when Kevin made his comeback, it's like, "Oh, look at him," because he's being compared to guys who have never, who have still never stopped. But if he had gone on stage like that and guest posed, people would have think he looked great.
Yeah, so, no, absolutely, 100%.
That's what I mean. So if these guys just did a guest posing and seminar, you're not comparing them to guys who are still in the game. I think it would be much better.
The seminar would be phenomenal because the stories that these guys have, and you know what, I'm going to go dig through my old hard drives and see if I can find that footage. And if I do, I'm going to start putting these parts up. I'm telling you, Rich Gaspari alone part was so good. The stories he was telling about training with Haney back in the day, and it was so enjoyable. And
especially if you went back and you had Gaspari, or even if Arnold agreed to it, because imagine having a seminar with Arnold, Samir, everyone, Robbie Robinson, just get them all there and then come into the present day. It'd be like from the beginning to now.
The problem is all these guys want to get paid, Lee. That's the problem.
I know.
So Jarka had all this money. I don't know where she had it from, and she was just spewing at, who of course got the most money off her. I'll give you one guess. Who extracted the most money from Jarka? Think about all the people. Sean Ray, of course. Sean got the most. Yeah. He worked his way in there. He smells the money. He smelled money from her, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take over. I'll help you with everything." He's Sean's very charismatic and very charming. He charmed the hell out of her, and he was her.
Can you imagine if they did agree to some figure, because it would bring in the money. You just call it the ultimate seminar. And you have from Arnold all the way through to present bodybuilders.
Right. Instead of giving out all that money in prize money that no one even cares about, just do seminars and stuff like that and stuff with them and guest posings. Exactly.
You look at it now. You look at it now when you have a seminar. Some of these gyms do it, and that where they bring in Jay Cutler and that they get packed. So could you imagine having all these people from different eras do this one ultimate seminar? Would be crazy.
A pay-per-view alone, they'd make a fortune on, because people would watch that. So.
You have a section where they just tell their stories, and then you have a section where people can actually ask questions.
Yeah.
And if you got a pay-per-view set up where it's live, have it go on somewhere else where people who aren't there could type in questions and take questions from an audience watching.
Why not? Why not? It would be great.
Dave, why aren't we running this? Come on.
Yeah, we should run. Yep. I got to find someone who's very, very wealthy, who's like a super bodybuilding fan, and will say, you know what, Dave, I'm going to give you $5 million to.
What's his name that runs the Olympia now? What?
No, I don't. Jake. If we did it with the women, Jake. No, Jake is doing the right thing in terms of holding the Masters, because he's not going to make any money on it. He's giving plenty back to sport. But I'm saying we need like a someone who's like a multi-billionaire who doesn't care about money and says, you know what, I'm such a bodybuilding fan, Dave. Here's $5 million. Whatever you got to give these athletes, let's get everyone in there for a superstar seminar and guest posing. It would be great. And you know what? That's
get Joe Rogan to do it, and he can moderate it.
I don't think Joe Rogan ain't putting 10 cents out of his pocket for a bodybuilding seminar. Believe me,
there's got to be somebody that would. We
got to find like one of these like Bader Badais of the Middle East, who loves bodybuilding. Somebody
like that would probably someone.
Yeah. Actually, Bader should do that over in Kuwait there, or Dubai, whatever, and it would probably be very popular. He'd pull it off too. I know he would. He would leverage all his connections out there and fly these guys out, and put them in some nice accommodations. Everyone would get their own little package in their room. They'd open up the package and be all the gear they need in there for the weekend.
Well, yes, because you can't go without a shot for the weekend, Dave.
No, you can't go away for a couple of days without having your gear accessible to you. That alone might be an enticement to get most of those guys out.
All the guys from different. But it would be interesting just having guys from different eras talk about what they went through and cycles and training and what they did when they weren't training from every era, from, like I said, Arnold's all the way through.
Maybe we'll get Jocelyn Peltier to come out of retirement for the seminar.
You'll still be wearing that same watch that he wore on stage every contest. Like, why he was on stage with a watch every time? I'm thinking, what, you've got a time? I'm timing my routine. I've got to leave the stage now. I've got to go have a meal. It's meal time.
We'll never figure that one out. But anyway, so let's see. We're throwing ideas out. Maybe they'll use some of these ideas for the Masters Olympia come this summer. I'm excited for it.
No, either Nick Trigilli or Bob Ciccarello is going to see this and go, Dave and Lee talking stupid ideas, and do a whole video about it.
Well, they're great ideas. It's whether anyone can adapt those ideas. The fact that
this is the basic format of the plan. Now somebody else has to go expand on the plan and make it happen.
Yeah, it's sad that the Masters comes back for like 2 years in a row, and then it disappears. Then the only good thing we got going for us now is that Jake owns the Olympia title, so he can bring it back, and he's not going to be shaken down for like Joe Weider. They were charging an AMI when they owned it. They were charging like an astronomical sanction fee to use the name Masters Olympia. That's why no one held it.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, and that's why Jay couldn't bring back the Miss Olympia originally. They wanted a ridiculous. No one wanted to hold it, but they didn't want But if you did want to hold it, they were going to charge you a premium on the name.
Well, I knew just like the normal pro shows back in the day. If you wanted to just have an IFBB pro show, it cost so much for the sanction fee, this and that. And I think when I spoke to some promoters, they said they had to have that money in way in advance before the show. Right. So you could be at a loss to begin with because you don't know how many tickets you're going to sell. This all has to be paid up front before
I think the Olympia sanction fee is like through the roof. It used to be through the roof, for that. And they, because they thought they got this, this great title that, they're going to use.
Well, you just look at the expos sometimes, those expos, the spaces there that some companies were spending 100,000 or more, 100. I think one.
That's why I never did those booths.
I can't remember. I want to say that the Twin Lab one we had that year when my dragster was there, like a massive space. I want to say it was like 140,000.
That's probably pretty cheap. The cheapest I ever got out of there, and when I would do the Arnold, I used to do the Arnold. I did the Olympia one year. Olympia was a little more expensive, but the Arnold was typically $35,000. And I didn't have an enormous booth. I had about 4 or 5 booth spaces. And I had to bring my people in, and I had to give them food and hotels. And that was like really economizing. So if you went and had something, bigger or beyond just the big regular booth space, you're easily spending $100,000.
And the thing was too, they even had the union fees now, because I remember I was there with the Twin Lab thing, and where they got all the stuff out the back on pallets.
Yep.
We could see it, and the guy could tell, I'll go get it. No, you can't get it. We've got to get the union people to bring it in and stuff. So they've all got to get paid. You can't go touch it. I can carry the box in. No, you can't carry the box in. These people have to bring it in. It's like, oh my God.
It's a scam. Yeah.
And then even I remember they had everything there. Like, when you'd stick up your things, and like I saw the invoice when it came. It was on there, Scotch tape, double-sided tape, everything itemized just to stick things up. It was crazy.
And that's the bad thing about the Olympia when it's in Vegas. Vegas, they really, the unions kill you with the fees. Oh, yeah. And I can understand why people didn't want to do it there. I think that's why I think Orlando is maybe a better venue for the Olympia, because it's a little more user-friendly, because they want families there. They want people there. And I think it's got to be way more affordable, I would think. How
about holding somewhere in like Austin, Texas? It's like in the middle, and Texas, everything's bigger in Texas, Dave.
Chicago is even great, as long as you don't hold it when it's too cold.
I know. They had what last time was there was that drug tested one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last time it was in Chicago.
Yeah, I think you got to hold it someplace warm. I really do. I mean, you want to make it a destination weekend where people want to go, and that's why Florida is great. I think that Vegas is good, but you can't hold it in December in Vegas because it does get cold there. You got to stick to the September if you're going to do Vegas.
Well, like I said, Columbus wasn't bad, but how many times did you go to Columbus that was snowed in, or even getting there?
Every single year.
Some people miss flights even trying to get there because of the weather sometimes. So it was like,
yeah.
It
is.
Hold it in next Olympia. It's going to be in Hawaii.
Yeah. Tell you that would be real affordable. Hawaii. You ever go to the supermarket in Hawaii, Lee? It's like 10 times more expensive than New York City.
ABC stores, the ABC store on every corner. What do you want to buy? Chocolate macadamia nuts. They're fucking everywhere. Every store.
Well, that's touristy, but the problem with Hawaii is everything it has to be brought in. So everything's crazy expensive. The only thing that's really reasonable is the stuff that they actually catch there. Like if you go to the supermarket, they have great fish markets there, and the fish is so affordable because they catch it right there. They don't have to import it, So.
Can you believe a lot of our fish in Australia? We have like some of the biggest fishing areas. A lot of it now, people are going mad because they're getting put out of business because you go to the local grocery store, fish from Taiwan, I'm like, why are we buying this shit from overseas when our local fishermen in Australia, it's incredible. It's almost like they're trying to, if you're an Australian businessman now, it's like they're trying to push you out and bring in all these imported stuff. It's stupid.
Told you, Australia, dumbest government on the planet. Worse.
Hey, we get gas here. We sell gas to China cheaper than what Australians can buy gas in their homes. And people are going off at the government. They're like, how? We produce the gas. You sell it to China cheaper than you sell it to the Australians. It's fucking.
We live in an insane world. What can I say?
Well, we used to have steelworks here that made all the steel. Now we don't. We just send all the products overseas. They make the steel, and we buy it back at through the roof prices.
And we have to think about how heavy it is to ship all that stuff also.
Yeah. We don't even make cars anymore. Our car manufacturing went out the window now. So.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know you ever made cars over there. What kind of cars do you guys make?
Fords and Holden and all that. And
oh, that's right. The Holdens. Yeah.
Which is similar to the Chevys and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like our Holdens was like your Pontiacs over there, but it's like
didn't they have a Holden Mustang for a while? Like
we had the Holden Maloo. That's like a Ute, which is like a pickup truck called in America.
Oh. I thought they had a Holden like souped up Mustang they were doing for a while.
Yeah, the Holden V8 was the club sport, and then we had the Holden. Well, our Holden two-door was your Pontiac GTO, I think. They just changed the names and shit. Well, look, here, put it this way. We're importing the new Corvette here, right? My friend brought the new Corvette in America for $64,000. If you want to buy it here, you're looking at $280,000 to $320,000 for the new Corvette.
Wow, that's insane. That's insane.
A new Mustang here will put you back like the supercharged Mustang.
Yeah.
Look at about $124,000.
That's crazy. Oh, by the way, I should have downloaded
luxury tax. They put luxury tax on cars when we were making them here because putting a luxury tax on, if you had to buy an imported car, was just too expensive. Now we don't make cars. They haven't taken the luxury tax off.
Yeah, it's crazy. Who was my client who was hanging out with you this past weekend? He was sending me videos of your car.
Who was that?
What's his name?
At the V8 race?
Yeah, he sent me like 10 videos of you driving that Aston Martin of yours.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know who it is?
I don't know. You should know. He sent them to you. Tell me his name.
He was talking to you, though. I'm trying to think who it was.
I talked to a lot of people that weekend, Dave.
He was definitely... He sent me like a lot of videos. I thought you guys were hanging out with all the videos he was sending me. I'm trying to look for the videos. Was it Fred Hughes? Fred Hughes.
Yeah, Fred.
Yeah, Fred.
Yeah, Fred. He's been in the bodybuilding for a long time.
Yeah.
He has a Commodore. He has a Holden Commodore.
Oh, he does? Yeah, he sent me some of your car is really nice. Really, really nice. Yeah. He was sending pictures of you driving it, you know.
Yeah, he was there when I first drove in because we had our cars on display at the museum there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice car you have, that Aston Martin. I definitely that's something I definitely would want to have maybe in the future once my kids are grown up or something like that. But
yeah, just get one now so you can go, I can't take your kids, all off.
Yeah, I know.
No back seats.
When I went to get my my last car, maybe 2 cars ago, I had my Mercedes E63. We only had, I think, 1 kid at the time, or I think my daughter was just born. And I was looking at the new M4 and I really liked it and I wanted to get it. And they had like a special, like, I think it was like a dine-in version or some kind of like aftermarket, like at the dealership though. And it was so nice. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to get the X5. I'm like, because I knew we were going to have another kid. I'm like, I'm never going to
your practical brain kicked in and destroyed your dream.
Yeah. So that's it. That's what happens when you have kids. You sacrifice yourself and all your own desires for the kids.
And then when they're older, you can tell them, you know what I sacrificed for you?
I gave up my muscle cars I liked for you.
You'll be telling her that, and then your wife will be telling you know the pain I went through having you, and this is how you treat me.
It's true. It's really true. All right, I got to wrap this up. Lee, thanks for
you're welcome
joining us this early in the morning, and I think we'll try to sneak one more show in.
Do we get one more in before you go and get cut open?
We may have to combine some shows next week we may have to get you on after hours or something like that, just to sneak you in.
It'd be like the whole screen full of people.
There you go. We'll have 25
but if I did that, I was going for an operation, I'll be like, fuck, this is like a memoriam to me. I'm not going to make it.
We'll call it the Last Supper. Supper.
Fuck, that's why, even now when people put up these like motivational videos of me and I'm watching it, I'm thinking, this is like something you play at a funeral. It's like the whole life put together. I fucking hate watching them because I'm thinking, this is what they're going to do when I die. They're going to put something together like this.
Right. That's why I try to make everything funny because I don't want to make it like morbid or anything like that.
No.
So. All right, let's wrap this up, guys. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Iron Rage. We'll see you again, hopefully next week.